What's up guys, welcome to your 11th Java tutorial. In this tutorial I'm going to be teaching you guys how to use multiple tests in the Java program. Now in the last tutorial I showed you guys how to test one thing, such as if let's say apples was less than 3, then do something. Well, there's actually a way to, in your if condition, test many tests in the same condition. So let me go ahead and demonstrate this point. Let's go ahead and make a simple dating website. So we need two variables, int boy and int girl. And let's go ahead, boy set him to 18, nice young buck as myself. And girl set her equal to 68, should be an old cougar. So let's go ahead and make a simple if statement. And in the test condition, as I told you guys before, we learned how to test one thing. So if boy is greater than 10, we would execute a certain block of code. So let's go ahead and do that. System out print line, and if he's older than 10, we'll write you can enter, since we can grant him permission. Else, if he's less than 10, then what do we want to do? Let's just copy this, save us some time. Copy and paste. There we go. You are too young. So let's go ahead and run this real quick and make sure everything's working. And since boy is greater than 10, it says you can enter. So that's what I taught you guys last time, how to do one test in an if statement. But there's a way where you can do multiple tests in the same condition. Now say you wanted to make sure that the boy is greater than 10 and the girl is less than 60, since we don't want any senior citizens on our site. No offense, but this is a site for younger people only. So what we would do is use something called the double ampersand, and this stands for and whenever you use this, that means that either test on either side of this has to be true for this to be true. So for example, if boy is greater than 10 and girl is less than 60, which is false, you want to print you can enter, else print you are young. And again, here's what and means. Whenever you have this little double ampersand, and that's a little symbol above the 7 on your keyboard, this test has to be true, and this test has to be true for this piece of code to execute. If either one of these are false, or if they're both false, then this code is never going to execute. So let's go ahead and change this to you cannot enter. It would now say you can enter. So that is how you use something called multiple tests in the and sign to make sure that two tests are true so you can execute a certain block of code. But there's also another neat thing besides the and that's called the or. And to do that, you use two little pipe signs, and that's the key above your enter when you press shift. It's I think it's called a pipe, like a pipe or pipeline or something. But here's what this means. Two little pipes, this means or. And what or means is either this has to be true or this has to be true. Only one of these have to be true to execute this first statement. If they're both false, then it's gonna just skip that and go to this. So let's go ahead and in another point, in an or statement, this one has to be true, or this one has to be true, or they both can be true, such as right now. So let's go ahead and change this to girl equals 99. So only this one is true, but this one is false. Using the or thing, you can enter should show up. So let's go ahead and we ran it, and it said you can enter. And let me show you guys what happens if both of them are true. It should do the same thing. Girl equals 44. Run it. Again, it says you can enter. But again, the only way that this is not going to work is if both of them are false. So let's say if the boy was 8 and the girl was 99, it would say you cannot enter. So again, to recap one last time, if you want to do multiple tests in Java, there's two things you can use: an and sign, and what this does is make sure both the tests on either side are true, and if it's not true, it does the else. And you can also use the or sign. And unlike the and where both of them has to be true, the or sign makes sure only one of them has to be true. But if both of them are true, then oh well, it still works. So that is how you can use multiple tests in your Java program using the double ampersand and double pipes to test either and or. So if you have any questions or if this is confusing at all, then you can just send me a message and hopefully I can clear things up for you. But I try to make it real self-explanatory for you. So that's all for this tutorial. I hope you learned how to do multiple tests and make a simple dating program. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next tutorial.